Hello. What are you smiling at?
No, they must tell you later.
Hello, horror movie fans. Welcome to Death by Podcast, episode 53. What a special day it is. I am your host, Adam, and that's your other host.
Yep.
And we are here today to talk about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We decided to, this is a surprise to anybody who listens, we decided I go to a movie once every 6 months to a year. The last one I saw was Ghostbusters. I forgot about that. And so I really wanted to see Doctor Strange before it all got spoiled. Went to the theater, saw it. Kevin saw it last weekend. So we decided, hey, let's push the letter T, Toxic Avenger, which was supposed to be this week. Let's push it to next week, and let's talk about Doctor Strange. Get on the bandwagon, son.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that today. Before we get there, what do we have? What do we have, Kevin?
You got some not a ton of news. We got some Rob Zombie. It's not really news. Just his Instagram feed.
Some Romby. This is the section of the part of the show called Romby News.
Yeah. Nothing crazy. He's on that tour. He posted a video of, they're shooting. They built the whole neighborhood of Mockingbird Lane. So
okay,
she shot a video of like walking down the street. They rapped on one of the actresses, Catherine Chanel, and also he posted a very nice tribute to George Perez.
Oh yeah, man,
who passed away this week.
Man, that was over the weekend. I was at Free Comic Book Day. Shout out to All Yeah Comics and Art Balthazar, Joe Crone, Bernie. Who else was there? Brian. Those are the
Wolfgang was there.
Wolfgang, man, the crown jewel Wolfgang. Eric Wolfgang was there. So that was a great weekend. But that's where I found out George Perez, man.
It's a bummer.
Neil Adams and then George Perez.
Yeah.
George, what do you have like a favorite George Perez image or character that he draws?
Yeah,
he draws the reason I asked that is because he's drawn everyone.
Yeah, when he died, I was in the car with Lynn's, my wife, and I was like, shit, George Perez. Because I know he announced like 6 months ago that he had like a couple months to live, right? And but I was explaining to her kind of like, well, he was the guy that if you wanted a giant picture of a shitload of people fighting each other, he's your guy. He was like, my thing, I think it was Avengers Forever. And I, you know what? I still in my head think of it. Amalgam Comics is what it was called.
Yeah, I know Amalgam.
Well, it was the Marvel versus DC in the 90s. Amalgam was when they combined, there was like a few months of like a combined label, and I don't think he had much to do with that. But when I think of the entire thing, but I always think of it. In my head, I call it amalgam because I didn't know what amalgam was, so I called it amalgam, and nobody corrected me. Like not the guy at the comic store, not any of my. I think my friends were stupid too.
Amalgam.
Well, I didn't. A friend of mine read it and he was like, calling it amalgam, like the Marvel DC. It's gonna be one thing. They're calling. I was like, amalgam. What the fuck is that? What a weird title. And I'm like, oh, amalgam. That was like a couple of years ago. I was like, it was called amalgam. Oh, of course it was called amalgam. I've been calling it amalgam for 30 years.
I was just looking at Dark Claw this weekend. Wolverine and Batman mix. Yeah, it was cool.
Surprised there aren't more figures from that line,
dude. Yeah, some great character concepts there.
Yeah. But anyway, when they all fought each other, there was a big giant spread of everybody fighting each other, and he drew it, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Avengers Forever obviously was pretty fucking awesome too.
He did one of the, I forget which issue it is. It was like Kang. Was Kang like the main villain in that? Or
yeah, I think so. It didn't run for that long. I think it was I think it was just I think it was like a maxi series. I think it was intended to be.
It was
like 12 issues, but yeah, I think Kang was a bad guy. I read it years and years and years ago.
So there's a Kang issue that got really hot recently out of there. But I was dug his Teen Titans stuff. I didn't read the whole run, but he was the one that drew Nightwing or helped create Nightwing. Dick Grayson, Robin to Nightwing, and I'll never forget that sequence where he just kind of like, I think he's sitting with what is it? Not Firestar, but Starfire.
Storm. Oh, Starfire.
Corey, the alien.
Wait,
he's
the
like,
girl?
Yeah.
I'm not a DC guy. I don't know much about him. But yeah,
he's either sitting
Starfire.
with her. He's either sitting with her or some other chick. And he's like, hey, I got a new he's basically like, hey, I got a new costume. And he goes in the closet or whatever and puts on the Nightwing with the, with the big collar. Yeah, the disco, which I love that costume. And he comes out and he's just like trying it on. He's like showing it off. And it's like, what a cool like sequence to draw,
Well, that's what's so funny. Like, because I read that I think we talked about, I don't know if we talked about on the show when I kind of tried to make my own Batman continuity, like being like, okay, it's Batman year one. And then because you can do that if you find the right stories and like put them in the right order.
Sure.
But when I got to the point where I'm like, okay, well, where does Dick become Nightwing? Like that must be a huge issue where he like gets in a fight with Batman and storms off and then becomes but it's not. They never have that. I mean, years later, it's retconned in. There's not like but he doesn't leave. He doesn't.
It's exactly what it's that issue I just described.
Yeah, he just and it's in the middle. It's not at the end. It's not even at the end of the issue where he's like, "Get ready for Nightwing." It's like that's how you would do it now.
Right.
Like it's just like, hey, check this out.
That's another shirt. Get ready for Nightwing.
Yeah.
Tales from the Teen Titans number 44 is the first appearance of Nightwing. I think it's like 80.
I think he's on the cover in that disco outfit too, right?
Yeah, it's like a split cover, like a 3-way split. It's got him, Jericho, and Deathstroke on the cover. Really cool issue, but it's not that cool. But yeah, rest in peace. George Perez was another like maker of comics and shaped the industry so that we all love today. What else? What other kind of man? You got any other news?
Yeah, actually, I got,
what do you got?
Two little bits of news. One, okay, one of them it's kind of also a referral. Have you seen Love, Death, and Robots?
No. Is it a comic book and a cartoon?
No, it's a Netflix like anthology show.
Oh no, I think I watched a couple actually. Yeah,
I mean, even anthology show is like a loose, like because there's nothing that ties them together. It's basically like here's the first season there's a shitload. The second season there's less. But like they're just
watch that. They're
just short films. They're just short animated films, and they're fucking cool.
Yeah.
Season 3 got announced. It's in like 2 weeks. Like it starts on May 20th. And Tim Miller, director of Deadpool, he's directed an episode, and David Fincher is directed an episode.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Solid series. Yeah, I watched it when it first came out and I forgot that I forgot about it. So
yeah, first season, I mean, it's more on me than the show, but like I ran out of gas on it because the first season's like 20 episodes and it was just like, this is so awesome. And I binged them all, and like by the end I was like over it, but that's on me. I watched like 20 short films like in a week,
Sure.
The other news we got some actually relates to next week's episode. Toxic Avenger remake.
Yep.
It received an R rating for strong gore and brief graphic nudity. Now, and I learned a little more about it that I didn't know before.
Okay.
That it has me more interested. So it's directed by Macon Blair.
Really?
Macon Blair.
Yeah. Blue Ruin and
Blue Ruin.
What's
Green
the one?
Room.
Green Room.
Yeah, but he's just acting in that. But he did grow up and like is good friends with the writer director of those movies.
Okay.
But he directed and wrote, I want to say, I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore.
Amazing movie.
Yeah.
Elijah Wood, and I always forget the girl. It's
Melanie Lejitsky.
What's the Charlie Sheen show? Two Men.
2.5 Men. I didn't know she was on that until years later.
She's awesome on it because she's
awesome at everything.
She's a neighbor that she's always like climbing the fence and appearing on the back porch, and she's creepy and it's awesome. She's also super hot, but whatever.
I haven't seen her in a while, but yeah. Anyway, Megan Blair's directing it. Which is cool. I think he might be writing it. The cast is promising as well.
It's Tyrion.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in it.
I told you that last week. You knew that.
Wait. Yeah. I think you did, but he's not playing Toxic, right?
I think he's playing the guy pre-Toxic Avenger. So he's the guy that turns into Toxic Avenger. I think.
Really?
I don't know what that character's name is. What is like alternate?
I forget.
But yeah, I think that's who he's playing. Who else is in the cast?
Elijah Wood.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you know what? He's one of those guys that like I like Elijah Wood, but like he is just seeing him in movies takes me like when he was in Sin City. I made if I didn't know who Elijah Wood is, I feel like that he would have been much better in that because when I see him, I'm just like that's Elijah Wood. Like I know who Elijah Wood is, you know.
Kind of. I mean, like I don't feel whatever in this world anymore. Like I saw that character. It just depends on who he's playing. When he plays like an everyman, I just see Frodo. But when he plays like that dude, I mean, that character in that movie was just hilarious, you know?
Yeah, he's but he's also like he's a like horror connoisseur, man.
Yeah,
like he knows his shit. He owns his own like production company. They make horror movies. He was the tipping point for Greasy Strangler. With that, he went on some show and was talking about it, and I was like, all right, if Elijah Wood says it's good, I'll watch it. But like,
that's awesome.
You know,
that's awesome. Greasy Strangler, for folks, if you haven't seen that, that's the movie to watch. Greasy Strangler. Watch it with your wife that doesn't watch.
Yeah,
that's never seen Star Wars.
Watch it with your kids, man. Yeah. Watch it with your parents. I mean, it's a Greasy Strangler's
bullshit artist. It's so good. I need to say that more. Yeah, man. I think the thing about the Toxic Avenger, the remake, I don't know what to expect as far as like how mainstream it's going to be, like who they're trying to reach with it. Like, is it going to be something that like a rated R horror movie that is going to be advertised and marketed in the same venues as a Blumhouse movie, you know, as
I don't know,
as like, a James Wan movie, or is it going to be more underground than that?
Well, like with Macon Blair, I get the feeling like, oh, it'll be more underground, but also like I don't feel at home in this way. That premiered on Netflix, you know, like I mean,
sure.
So
who's doing this one? Do we know?
Macon Blair.
I mean, like, is it like
who's producing
Netflix?
It?
Yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't say in the article. Yeah. Jacob Tremblay's in it too.
Who's that guy?
Isn't that the kid that's in everything now?
Tremblay. Oh yeah.
Or is that? No, that's Timothy Chalamet. Who's Jacob Tremblay?
Tremblay's
the kid from Room, right? With the hair.
Sure, maybe. I haven't seen that. He's done stuff. You'd recognize his face.
The name sounds familiar.
It's one of those kids, you know, one of those millionaire kids out there. That's cool, man. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the original is, and we'll talk about it next week, but the original is something else.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's a movie that, like, I don't think you can make again without taking the teeth out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it was made at we should save it for next week, but it was definitely made at a time when some content was either excused or just not noticed because it was like, oh, that movie's filthy, whatever. But I don't know how you remake it. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Every article I read about it, they bring up Deadpool. They say that it's going to be in the vein of Deadpool. So
Deadpool?
I don't know what that. Yeah, what does that mean?
What does that even mean?
That sounds like that's what they told the boardroom.
Yeah, that's like idiots talking. That's idiots talking. It's like saying like Spider-Man Homecoming is like The Breakfast Club because it takes place in high school.
Exactly.
Fuck off. Go fuck yourself.
Or Ant-Man's a heist movie. Like,
go fuck yourself.
I mean, we'll talk about that on the regular during the regular.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Doctor Strange.
But yeah, that's all
That's news. I don't have much for what you watch, but I have been watching a lot of Star Trek for some weird reason. You son of a bitch. You know, Pluto has the Star Trek channel, but apparently it should just be called the Next Gen channel because that's all it is for the most part.
This ain't like 9 episodes. Just by the way, like they play the same. I mean, maybe it's more than 9, but every time I do throw on Pluto, I feel like I'm like, it's this one again. Like it's always the same.
I did see a repeat, but I put them on the background. I'm not like super engaged. Sure. I catch bits and pieces, and there was this one man. I don't know what the fuck I was looking at, but it was Stats and some other dude, some alien guy, and they were sitting at a table facing each other with like a battleship, you know, board game setup, toy setup, and they had these frimbly things on their fingers, and this was the game that they were playing. It was like this. Okay. Like they're wiggling their fingers and they're both doing the same thing at each other. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Like these like little caps that went on their fingers and then wires.
Yeah.
You know that episode?
Not off the top of my head. Was it a pivotal point of the episode? Was it like
it was like everybody was gathered around them like they were like it was an arm wrestling match, you know, over the top or something. And they're just sitting there looking at each other, doing these magic fingers. And I was like, what am I looking at right now? I don't know.
I can't, not off the top of my head.
I also saw another one that sticks in my brain is there's like an Irish farmer guy.
Oh my God, that was so awesome. That one's insane.
He's got the clones, the cloning.
Wait, is this the one where I don't know if it's a planet they go to or if it's something?
There's the Irish farmer.
I think it's wait, but the Enterprise gets filled up with like Irish immigrants, right?
Maybe he's got a super hot daughter. Number one tries to crush her. Maybe he does crush her. And like she's really bossy to her dad, who's the Irish farmer guy. And they come in contact with either a ship or a world where they survive through cloning, and they want to clone the cast of the Enterprise or whatever. And they're right off the bat, they're like, fuck no, I don't want another one of me out there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And then, but they go, but you can have this idiot farmer guy over here, and they give him that guy to clone. It was weird. It was interesting.
I haven't seen, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I haven't seen it in a while, but
yeah, it's I don't know where I'm going with it in my head.
Just enjoy it, man. It's good stuff.
But yeah, I don't really have a lot of other stuff I don't think that I watched this week.
I've been keeping up with the TV. I mean, I watched Evil Dead today and some of the commentary track. And
you watched one?
Yeah. I watched half of it, and then I watched the commentary track of the half I just watched, and then I watched a bunch of Bruce Campbell interviews.
Yeah, I'm due for a rewatch of that whole series.
Me too. Definitely, man.
Did you like the series, the TV series, Ash versus, or what's it called?
I didn't. I really liked the first episode, which was directed, I think, written by Raimi.
Yeah.
And I liked the first season, but I didn't finish it. Like I didn't hate it, but I wasn't rushing to watch it. You know.
See, a lot of people are in your camp because I think it went 2 seasons.
It might have went 3.
Did it go 3?
Might have got, right. I think it got a shortened 3rd season though.
It went 3. The first season obviously kicked off by Raimi, really good. Towards the end, it kind of got a little weak. Season 2 was mostly really weak, but then season 3, man, was like balls to the wall, gore, craziness. They bring in Steve Austin as his dad.
Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin?
No, like $6 Million Man.
Oh, okay. All right.
As his dad.
Stone Cold Steve Austin would be awesome.
And dude, it's worth, go back to it and finish it, because then it ends, the way it ends is like opens some doors. So it's
did they get a real ending, or I heard it got it got canceled? It got a real ending. Okay, cool.
I just think it didn't get renewed.
Right, but like, is it? That's what I mean. Is it? Did they know it was ending when they end? When
yeah, they tied it up.
Okay, that's good.
But I think they might have done it because Raimi has plans to make a new movie.
That was before the remake. There is a new Evil Dead movie coming out, but it's a sequel to the one that came out a couple years ago. Yeah,
interesting. I really like that one too.
I haven't seen that one, and I've heard good things.
It's good, man, and it's kind of in continuity in a weird way. I'm pretty sure Bruce Campbell has a cameo in it, but it's not. There's no comedy. You know, it's a very dark and serious movie. But it's cool, man. It's a really good horror movie. But the series, go back to the series and watch it. I don't know what it's on, but
you could remake Evil Dead, and I'm sure it's probably a good movie. It's fine, but like, it's such a specific thing. Like, why you like what's great about that series? You know what I mean? Totally. It's a particular vibe. It's a particular You like to be like, hey, we're gonna remake Evil Dead, but we're gonna take out all the comedy. That's like I mean, that's like remaking Ghostbusters to me, and being like, but it's not going to be funny. It's going to be all scary.
But it's not that kind of remake. Like Ghostbusters would fail on multiple,
right? Or even like Gremlins. Let's remake Gremlins, but we're going to take all the heart out of it. It's just going to be a horror movie. Yeah. Like it's. I mean,
but don't get ahead of yourself. They haven't done that yet with Gremlins.
I can't believe they haven't done it yet.
They will, but they will remake it. I don't know.
I feel like there's some executive at some place like.
Nah, I take it.
Oh, back. Jesus Christ! What are we doing? Get the CGI guy on the phone. We gotta make a million Gremlins.
Nah, I really think the next time it'll be a third movie instead of a remake.
Oh yeah, no, it'll be. And Billy, that's what they're doing.
And Billy will be in it.
Yeah, Billy will be in it, and it'll be
good. I think it'll be good. But go back and watch the series, and if you get a chance, watch the remake, because I know you're a Bruce Campbell fan.
I love Bruce Campbell, man. I mean, I'm gonna order his book. We were talking about it on the Patreon.
If Chins Could Kill, it's great.
But yeah, I mean, it goes right into that goes right into our main show, really.
Our main show, Doctor Strange, multitude of madness, multiverse of madness.
Multiverse. So my brother-in-law said when he heard the title, he like laughed out loud. Like, that is not the title of the fucking movie.
Really?
Yeah. And it was like, yeah, well, the multiverse is a thing. He's like, I know, it just because he's never seen any of these Marvel movies, and like,
oh really?
Yeah, he was just like, what a stupid title. It reminded me, have you ever seen the clip of when Ewan McGregor
yeah
found out that they named that Attack of the Clones was the movie?
Yeah.
Like the title.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite clips. It's like, no, it isn't. And then he tells Nicole Kidman, she's like, shut up. That's not what it's called.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm really excited to talk about this. You like the movie?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it's not, no, I liked it a lot. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's not, most of my problems with the movie aren't with the movie itself. It's with Marvel, with how they're like doing things.
I was really, I have no expectations anymore going into Marvel movies. You know, like Batman, I've got expectations because they're one-offs for the most part, or not attached to anything. But Marvel, I've loved almost everything, or enjoyed almost everything they put out. I really liked the first Doctor Strange movie. I haven't watched it in a long time, but when I heard, Sam Raimi was coming to this, I was just like, the first thing I think we all think is, how tied are they going to, how much is he going to be tied to the Marvel?
Are you going to let him make a Sam Raimi movie, or are you going to, because that's.
But he's coming back to Marvel in a way, making 3 Spider-Man movies.
He's coming back. That wasn't Marvel Studios though. That was him dealing with Sony.
But he's coming back to comic book Marvel Comics movies. And so I feel like for him to do that, he had to have said, all right, because that Spider-Man 3 is, everybody knows the stories of the studio interference on that one. There's no way he would agree to make another comic book movie, if that was going to be the case. And I don't think it was.
He did do that Wizard of Oz movie. That was kind of a turn.
I didn't see that. I'm not doing that.
It was, I didn't finish it, but like, it was, I mean, I think and that was that I remember when that came out, I was bummed because after he did Spider-Man or whatever it was, then he did Return or Drag Me to Hell. And I was like, fuck yeah, man. That's what I,
See, I don't like Drag Me to Hell. It's weird.
I do. I was bummed. I mean, that's a Raimi movie, man.
Yeah, like, it is. I'll give you that.
And it was
just something about
is it Justin Long? I feel like Justin Long.
No, I usually like Justin Long. Like, I just watched Jeepers Creepers the other day, and that's just such a great horror movie.
He's another one that just takes me out of movies. And I like Justin Long. Don't get me wrong, but like, he takes me right out.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's not big enough for me to do that to me, but I feel like this movie, man, because before I saw it, you and I texted, and I was like, you said something like it's very Sam Raimi or something like that. I
said I think exactly. Because we were debating about it, like, should we do it? Or you said, should we do it like this week instead of Toxic Avenger? And I said, yeah, this one's I said it's Sam Raimi as fuck. Yeah. So I would watch it.
So going into it, I was like, I was looking for it. I was looking for Sam Raimi, and I feel like I didn't really see him until maybe like the end of the second act and going into the third act. I mean, the third act is like bonkers, bonkers Sam Raimi. And I loved it. But the beginning of it, I feel like they might have been like, all right, let's get all the Marvel stuff out of the way so that you can finish it off with like Sam Raimi, basically like Evil Dead, or Army of Darkness, even more so. But yeah, I really dug it. I really dug this movie way more than, I can't think of the last MCU movie. Endgame, great, awesome movie, all that stuff. But as far as the individual movies, this one was like, I thought it was pretty badass.
Everything since Endgame for me feels like a bonus. Like, this all is just like,
sure.
Like after Endgame, it was like, all right, they could all be terrible from now on. And as long as they don't ruin what came before, like, they nailed it.
Well, it's been all TV shows mostly.
Yeah. And it's been fine. It's been okay. Yeah. I mean, I really liked Spider-Man.
I didn't.
But like nothing's really, it's wild. There's been 2 Spider-Man movies post Endgame.
That's crazy. Really?
Yeah,
that's right. That's bonkers.
It's
been 2 Spider-Man, and then all the TV stuff,
and then a bunch of new stuff. Really, I mean,
yeah, that's crazy. But
like
this one,
Eternals, and
Eternals was garbage.
I didn't see Eternals.
Shang-Chi was good. I really like Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I was really surprised how good Shang-Chi was, man. Yeah. Like, not to say I was expecting it to be shitty, but I was just like, I wasn't into it. And then I was into it while I was watching it. You know?
But this, I feel like this blows them all away. As far as like one character's movie, it beat my expectations. I guess. The way it started with like, the first thing I noticed was the music, which is obviously Danny Elfman.
Yeah, they got Danny Elfman. Like, that's awesome.
That's a Sam Raimi move right there. He's like, I'm not doing this without.
Well,
Elfman.
He brought in his editor too.
Really?
Yeah, this Bob Murowicz, I think, or whatever it is. It's the guy that, he's been with forever.
But not just the music, the sound, like the sounds.
Oh,
put into this movie, the sound editing was absolutely noticeable and just like really creative. Because this could have been, it was sold to us as a horror movie, just like when they say, like we just talked about,
Ant-Man's a heist movie.
Yeah,
give me
this actually. It went that direction. It didn't start that way.
Close, like it's not. Yeah. I mean, it's. Yeah,
but I feel like the sound design and the music elevated it to that, or at least helped it.
Yeah, and and that's what's. I hope Marvel keeps with this, where it's like we got. They're consistent about getting these really great directors, and then like Ryan Coogler, who was making these great movies, and they bring him in to do Black Panther, and I like Black Panther, but to me that's like I'd much rather see an independent movie or like not even like a movie, a regular movie. You can get anybody to direct, but then again, like Taika Waititi, they'll let him do his thing.
Did you say they did let him?
Yeah, and I mean those movies kick ass. I hope this is the direction they're taking, because for a long time they would get Disney in general was doing this, where they would get directors that had a vision and a voice, and they were like, whoa, like back, I mean, they fired Edgar Wright off of Ant-Man, and then we all know about all the shit going on with Star Wars.
I think Star Wars is a different basket, because Kevin Feige really does push he's a champion of creativity and wants these guys to come in with their flavor. I don't like Black Panther, the movie. When he's in other movies, I think it's awesome, but I don't feel like Coogler did much with that movie. I don't think it was way too cartoony. But Taika Waititi with the Thor movies, like I love Kenneth Branagh's original Thor, but Taika Waititi took it to a different level, and I'm really interested for the new one. I think that'll be great.
Yeah, I think so too. It's wild that like it comes out like in like 2 months.
Totally.
And Black Panther 2 comes out in November.
Does it really? Because we haven't seen anything.
Nothing. Nothing.
That's bananas. Did you, while we're on the topic of Raimi, what was the standout scene? I wonder if it's the same one for me as far as Raimi goes.
Throughout the whole movie, or like the first one where I was like, that's Raimi.
Just whatever stands out. No, not the first one, but like
honestly, the look of all the, first of all the dead, like the zombies and stuff, like the look of them looks like Evil Dead. And like you said, the sound when he's like dealing with these like demons, I mean they're Evil Dead voices,
Oh yeah, like the high pitch.
We
will get you.
Yeah, like that's straight him. Like there's
swallow your
and the camera
soul.
work, man.
Yeah,
they let him the camera moves all over the place, in this, and there's all these weird angles and up and down and whatever, and it's pretty fucking awesome, man.
The standout Raimi scene for me was when he's right at the side at the end with America. He's at her side and he's telling her, it's Zombie Strange, and he's telling her something like what to do or whatever. It's almost like straight up Evil Ash, but the way he's talking, but it's cut, like it's like frenetic weirdness. And the voice that he's using in that scene, it's awesome. But so that was my big Raimi one. But man, when he gets the demon cloak, I was like, that is one of the coolest things that you could.
I didn't even register that as a cloak, like that it was like his cape, until I saw the still images like later. I was like, oh really? Yeah, that's what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean that was like what an awesome idea, like visually to fully morph that Doctor Strange into a fully like zombie, an exact mirror image of what living Doctor Strange and then dead Doctor Strange. It was so awesome, so creative, so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and there's not a lot of Marvel movies like this. You know what I mean? Like this goes there. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. What do you think of the cast? The new folks. America. Did you are you familiar with her from the comics at all?
Yeah, I was trying to remember after we left. I was like, where did she pop up? And I was thinking, I'm like, was she in House of M? And she wasn't.
No.
I remember when she popped up, but I remember I never really gravitated towards it. But I do remember the name, and I remember that she like made portals, but that's all I really remembered.
She popped up. Her first appearance is in a mini series called Vengeance. Real obscure.
Sure.
It was mostly about villains. I don't remember the whole thing, and it was weird that she first appeared there. But then she became like a staple in the Young Avengers.
Maybe that's where I know her from, because I'm big. Yeah, I love the Young Avengers,
all that stuff. So there's not a ton of context for her. So this was it was really weird that they decided to put her in this, but it makes sense.
I was really surprised that like when she said, because I didn't see any trailers, I didn't know who was in, who wasn't.
Yeah.
When she said America, I was like, oh, okay. Because like, again, and she was kind of when she was doing maybe it was Young Avengers, that I still had one toe in comics, but I was pretty out at that point. Yeah, I was surprised, but I mean, I guess it works. I mean, she's a walking plot device.
I think going forward, hopefully they'll have more for her to do, but I wasn't really sold on the actress.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know. She was, I think that, I don't know if you're familiar with the chick that they got for She-Hulk. I think her name's Tatiana Maslany.
I don't know. I don't know her at all.
She at least like looks more like what I imagine America Chavez to look like. But regardless, it doesn't matter what you look like if you act the part well. But I just felt like she was a little too like, I don't know, just like young or something. She had a very, very young looking face, but it worked. Whatever. It was a good character.
Yeah, it was fine. But yeah, as far as her, yeah, I mean, I could take her, leave her. Frankly, if they recast her, I wouldn't even notice. Like if they did another one, I don't think I'd even notice. Yeah, as far as all the other new casting, I mean, where do you start? Like, I mean, should we wait? Should we get into that a little later? Like, because you talking
about the Illuminati?
Yeah,
and by the way, I don't know at this point. I guess we have.
Oh yeah, obviously spoilers.
But this is going to be full on spoilers.
Full on spoilers. Yeah, we should have said that already.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't spoiled anything.
We spoiled that America Chavez is in it, but
she's in the trailers. She's all over the trailers.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hold off on the Illuminati for a minute before we get there, because that's pretty
that's a big part.
But as far as other new characters, not Kunlun, wherever the mystical place is that they took everybody.
It's it was cool that they said that, though. It's
I forget what it's called, Kashmashi, or there were a couple new characters in there. The one, and this dude is in the trailers as well. The green, I don't know who he is, the green bull guy. Who did absolutely nothing in this movie. But like, if you're gonna put money and time into these visuals of the green bull man, have him do something. He didn't do anything. Weird.
Well, he did make Wong into like an asshole, I guess.
How so?
Well, like, I gotta tell you, that scene.
Which one? We're seeing?
Okay, so again, spoilers. The villain in the movie is Wanda.
I want to talk about her.
Yeah. When she goes to Wong, is like, where is like whatever? He goes, I'm not telling you, you're gonna have to kill me. And then she just like finds like 4 half-dead students in the rubble.
Right.
And she's like, well, I'll kill them. And he's like, okay, I'll walk you to the place and show you exactly where it is. Like, I mean, like, I feel like the Sorcerer Supreme would need like a little more willpower than that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like, yeah, kill him, I don't care. But like if Wong had the time stone, would he give it to just, okay, here you go. Like, please don't kill my 3 students that I thought were dead anyway.
Well, it's a trope question anyway, or position to be in, because it's like the obvious move is, okay, yeah, I'll tell you where they are, and you lie.
Yeah,
or you take her to the wrong place or something like that,
And he literally like climbs a mountain with her. Right. Or I mean, they climb this mountain and she's not. I mean, she drops the people. You know what I mean? Like he could get there and be like, "Eat shit." I'm not telling you anything else.
To be fair, she doesn't want to be a villain.
Somebody should tell the movie that.
No, I know. Before we get to that, at what point does Wong become Sorcerer Supreme?
It's off screen. They say that in a Far From Home.
Really?
That like he says something about the Sorcerer Supreme while Peter's there, and Peter's like, I thought you were Sorcerer Supreme, which also didn't happen. There was no, like, the Sorcerer Supreme in the first one is the ancient one.
Yeah.
And she dies. I mean, there is no Sorcerer Supreme.
Doesn't he? He doesn't become Sorcerer Supreme at the end.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, he gets control of the New York Sanctum, but I don't think he becomes.
There has to be a scene where Wong. It's not in Spider-Man. It's not.
It's not in Spider-Man. I'm telling you, they're like.
It's not in Shang-Chi at the end or something.
Not that I know of. No, like he says, "When did you become Sorcerer Supreme?" And he said, "I think. Oh, it's because they say it's because Strange disappeared for 5 years.
So that's when it happened
with the snap.
Okay.
Like they needed a Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Which I guess is a good explanation, but like
that's weird that it's not.
Also, why do that?
Yeah.
Like why
Wong?
I guess it answers the question that says like, what happened during the 5 years? Was there a Sorcerer Supreme? Did they just give it back to Doctor Strange?
Yeah. You think there would have been more definitive, like Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme, but
there would have been a scene where but there was never even a scene where Strange got it.
Can I get a shirt that says "Why Wong"?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, you want to talk about Wanda? I want to talk about Wanda.
Yeah, let's talk about Wanda.
I've never been a fan really of Scarlet Witch, I really love House of M, that story and Avengers Disassembled and everything that they use her for. But as far as like fan of the character, whatever. Elizabeth Olsen is fine. She's been around and she's done things. She had her own show, which was fine. I really liked her in this. I liked her as the villain. I have to give Marvel like super props to turning, because I know people who love her and they love her because of Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch. And I have to give them mad props for just flat out turning her into a villain.
Yeah.
Because this is what I wanted to see. The second I walked out of Force Awakens in 2015, I was like, please get at the end. Let's make Rey go dark.
Sure.
And I even made a figure of her back in 2015 that was Dark Rey, which we saw in the third movie in a glimpse thing, whatever, but they never went through with it because they don't have the balls to do it. Marvel, for some reason, had the balls to take this character that had kind of gone through some struggles. She started off evil when we saw her, or kind of bad, and they redeemed her and then they turned her. So that's awesome, I think.
Yeah, and she had a lot of it's weird because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But like most of the time when there's a shitload of character development off screen, like in the new season of Picard, or like, or even like, I mean, like we were just talking about what happened with the Sorcerer Supreme. Like I remember, but Marvel does it most of the time. When Marvel does it, it works. Like when they open up Infinity War, they just check it like, oh, where are Wanda and Vision? And then it's like, oh, they've been dating for 3 years. And they don't, they've never, I think they had like one scene where they kind of liked each other, but that was it. Before that. And it was just like, no, they're together now. Okay. I mean, I guess that works.
It works.
And you roll with it. And it gives it's I guess that it's a testament to how kind of good these movies are, that like, when she's really upset that she has to, kill Vision or whatever, like you buy it, even though you didn't see any of that.
Right.
Like they've had like up to that point, they've had 2 scenes together,
right,
that we got to see.
I think that's a good point. I think the way that it works is because it might come out of left field at first, but then they show you, they earn it later. It's like, so like with your Vision Scarlet Witch example, they just tell us, yeah, they're dating now. And we're like, okay. And then we get to see what they mean to each other.
Yeah.
Coming after that. And it's the same thing with Wong. It's like, he's the new Sorcerer Supreme. Oh, okay. And then we get to see him being Sorcerer Supreme. So
kind of like, I mean, they did with Spider-Man, because they're like, we're not going to kill Uncle Ben again. Let's fuck it. You know who Spider-Man is. Let's roll with it. It's smart. Yeah. So I was surprised they went this hard with her, because at the end of WandaVision, like it's one of those things where it's like, it's fucked up what she did, but you could see them like be, it's not irredeemable. It's like they do enough of a focus on her that like you see her point of view, and then she does, the right thing in the end. She just kind of whatever, but then to like full on just do like that. She's a full on villain, man. Yeah. Like it was pretty jarring at first. Like, I mean, it worked.
It was because at the end of WandaVision, you're talking about what she did with the town by controlling them.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like it's screwy, but it's not, unless you like think about it. Like, man, that is really fucked up that she like took control of everybody's mind for whatever.
Right.
But
and at the end of that, she defeats Agatha Harkness, whatever. And so she's back on top as a hero. And I feel like there's something else that comes after that that talks about what she did. So it's not like
there's the after credit scene. That's it.
I'm talking about like in a different series it's mentioned, or a different movie it's mentioned after that.
I don't know. Maybe I don't think so, but maybe. I mean,
it's referenced, like the town is referenced, and they say like, oh yeah, this and that, she did this and that, but they position her as redeemed.
You don't get this when she hears the kids like at the end of that series, like in the after credits. You don't get the sense that she's like going to murder a bunch of people. Right. You know what I mean? Like she's pretty hardcore
with the Darkhold, the book. Is that what she's reading in that scene where she's floating? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. See, I didn't know that. I didn't catch that when I saw that scene. I don't know. That's cool to bring that in.
Well, they talk about a lot in WandaVision. They mention it by name. And,
do they? Okay.
Yeah. And then they do in this too. Okay. Yeah. It was also on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way, that really? They just, they don't really, that's one they kind of just pretend didn't happen.
Did you like watch that whole show or something?
I watched most of the first season, and then my buddy's dad watched it every week, and he gives me updates, or he did give me updates. Yeah, it's done now, but
I watched, actually, I don't know how many seasons it went, but I watched a bunch of it.
Yeah, I mean, and it was cool. Like they had Mockingbird on there, but then again, like, but it is funny that when they just kind of ignore that, like they, shit they already did on that show. Like I think they bring in Mockingbird in one of the movies or something.
No, Mockingbird isn't. Oh yeah. Mockingbird
on the Hawkeye show.
Oh yeah, it's his wife.
Oh yeah, it's his wife is Mockingbird.
Yeah, it's his wife. Yeah,
but Bobby Morris is on the show.
Which character? Who is she?
She's Adriana Appalucci, who's on the Orville. She's a hot chick.
The original Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What'd you say her name was?
Adriana Appalucci.
I don't think that's her name.
It might be. It's Adrian something.
I think it's like Jared Padalecki or something like that.
Oh, wait, Adrian Padalecki. That's what it is. It's Adrian Padalecki. Because isn't her brother on your show?
Is that her brother, Jared Padalecki?
I mean, how many Padaleckis could be out there?
No, they're not related because they're boyfriend-girlfriend in the first season of Supernatural, and they were kissing.
And both their last names are Padalecki?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
There's no fucking way.
They were making out like every episode. If they were brother and sister, I'd say that's weird, but whatever.
I mean, like, with the first time you heard like Jake or Maggie Gyllenhaal, weren't you like, oh yeah, clearly they're related because their name is Gyllenhaal. There's not. It's not like we're talking about Tommy Lee Jones and like John Jones, the like UFC fighter, and being like, well, they're clearly related. Like, no, like it's Adrian Padalecki. Have you ever met like a Mike Padalecki? Like,
no.
Anyway.
But yeah, the Darkhold and S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know how much of that series carries over, but she's redeemed at the end of WandaVision, and again, like she earned a lot of fans on that show to do this. It's great because what this opens the door to is Marvel's been pretty good with like not adapting comic book stories verbatim, but they get pretty close. But this can get them even closer. And if they're going to approach House of M, man, I don't think they're going to do House of M. I think they might. They have to establish the mutants first.
I'll tell you why. I don't think they're going to do it. Only because like, we'll get into it.
It would be like a because at the end of this movie, as far as we know, she's dead. Of course, she's not dead. She'll come back. This is the first MCU movie to introduce mutants, and this is the first MCU movie to turn a hero villain, like straight up, no,
I mean at this level for sure, but like Mordo was good.
Yeah, but like you could say like Mordo and Jude Law. There's other characters.
Jude Law was bad the whole time.
There's other characters that were like, oh, I'm a good guy, but I've got Thanos plans, where it's like the whole idea of Thanos being right. Yeah, he was right, but he went around about it the wrong way. There's been those kinds of characters. This was just straight up an Avenger who went bad, Yeah. And so it's the first time doing that. So I think once they establish the mutants and we get mutant stories for 10 years, they could bring Ashley or Elizabeth Olsen back and be like, hey, it's time for House of M.
I want only because it works in the comics, especially because it's taken a long time for them to bring in mutants, and like I appreciate it. Like I want them to take their time. I tell you what, this will get me to my biggest problem with the movie. And it's not even the problem with the movie. I'm tired of Marvel like giving me fucking blue balls with this. Like, it's getting really annoying at this point. Like the Quicksilver thing in WandaVision, that was like a sit up, like holy shit type deal, you know? And it was for nothing. It was what even was that? It, like they don't explain it. It was just like, it was all like a boner joke at the end of it. It was like, and this is like that, the movie. Did he end
up being a creation of hers?
No,
that version.
I don't think, or even if he I think he was just a guy in the town.
Oh, was he?
I think so. I mean, I think his name is Ralph. Like, and she keeps talking about Ralph. I don't think they ever even bother to get, I think he's working for her too, but they don't even get into that. Anyway,
what do you mean? How is this movie that?
Well, like, okay, you roll out fucking, first of all, it was, okay, hang on. We're going to start at the beginning. So he's in this other dimension. This was me, like the whole movie. I'm like, I'm in. Okay. And I got to watch it. I got to watch my wife watch me watch this, which is what she does when we watch these kind of movies. Because she doesn't know any of this. I mean, she's seen the Marvel movies, but like, you know, she can sense when something, when I perk up for, what was that? Like, so like, alternate Rachel McAdams is there, and she's like
the scientist or
the scientist one. She says like that she's in the back, that he's like, where are we? She's like, you're in the Baxter building. And I was like, oh, the Baxter building.
Yeah. I did the same thing.
And at first I'm thinking, I'm like, that would have been enough for me. Like, honestly, like
I thought that was it.
That was it.
I thought that was it. As far as the reference goes.
And again, I didn't know anything going in and then like the Ultron robots. I guess those, I found out later those were in the trailer. Yeah. But like when I saw the Ultron robots, it's like, oh, okay. And then
anything that has to do with Ultron doesn't, if it shows up, I'm like, okay, that's Iron Man tech. That's
sure. Yeah. That's
leftovers from another movie. I get it. Whatever. Like, it doesn't do anything for me.
But then the when Mordo said the Illuminati, I didn't know anything. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking the whole time
you didn't see any of these, because the trailer that had there's a trailer that came out at least a month, if not 2 ago, that showed the back of Professor X's head and his voice.
That's insane. That's fucking insane.
Isn't it crazy?
That's insane.
But when you get to see the scene, you realize, if you've seen that trailer, you realize that, oh, they had more up their sleeve, which I love. I love that they show you a thing and you think that it's been spoiled and you've seen it all, but they always have more.
Yeah, but fuck, if I would have known that going, I would have been so pissed.
I can't believe you didn't. That's
crazy. I actively avoid all these trailers. It's a lot easier now because I never go to the movies, but I used to go to the movies.
Yeah.
Lynn, to make fun of me, because I'd put up my hoodie and I'd like plug my ears and be like, I'm not. As soon as I saw, or I'd go to the bathroom and like wait, like.
But you listen to stuff like the Weekly Planet, and they talk about every trailer that comes out. I'm surprised.
Well, a lot of this. Here's the thing. Here's my whole thing. Is if I know I'm going to see it, like with a Marvel movie like that, like I actively, I will, like, if they start talking about Doctor Strange or whatever, what happens in that trailer, I'll turn off the episode. Stuff I don't care about at all, then I don't, whatever. So I always wait to see what trailer comes on. Like if it's a new Bourne movie or something, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, who cares?
Whatever.
He rolls up a magazine, he hits someone in the throat.
Right. Like, it's not something I care about, but like if I know I'm going, and it's not just superhero movies either. It's like if I see, like, if it's a director I like or whatever. Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I had no idea that it was about Charles Manson. I didn't even know it took place in the 70s. Yeah, the only thing I knew about it was that Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio were in it.
Okay.
And then that's so much more fun because then, like,
I agree, but I just feel like in today you can only do so much before it turns into work.
Yeah, and it's a pain in the ass
to avoid. And then I'm like, I don't care.
Well, and Marvel's usually good about it because even when I've gotten fucked on Marvel twice. My buddy's nephew texted me for Infinity War, and he was like, "Do you see the trailer?" I'm like, "I'm not watching that trailer. You nuts?" And he's like, "They don't give anything away." And I was like, "Okay, I'll watch it." And to their credit, like, they don't really give anything away, but I'd read the Infinity Gauntlet, so I was like, I know what this whole movie is now. Like it's gonna end with like him getting all the stones and what, like, that's how the movie ends. but like whatever. And then with Spider-Man, he's like, he did the same thing. He's like, I'm telling you, they don't give anything away that isn't obvious. And I'm like, okay. And I watched one trailer and it had Dr. Octopus in it. And I was like, are you out of your fucking mind with that? And he's like, everybody knew he was in it. I'm like, I didn't know he was in it. I had no idea. I had no idea. But that's my point is like with the Infinity thing, you had already read Infinity Gauntlet. Even without a trailer, I know what the movie's about.
Yeah. So, but with Spider-Man, it was like I saw Dr. Octopus, then I know everything else that's going to be in it.
Well, I didn't know Sandman was in it. I didn't know the other six guys were in it.
I just figured that would happen.
Oh, not me, man.
It's just the way I feel like my brain's been trained. Like I don't even want to know if there's a spoiler anymore.
Oh,
because if there's a spoiler, then I start thinking, what's it going to be? You know, whatever.
Well, what was cool was I got to watch it like how you're supposed to. Like when it was Dr. Octopus, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna try and not think about it. But then when like Sandman and like other villains start showing up, I got to like while I'm watching the movie be like, you know what would be cool? If they brought in the other Spider-Man. I'm like, that's clearly the move.
I can't believe that you didn't know that. That's insane.
No, and like I'm thinking in the movie, I'm like, I mean, that's the move. And like they could definitely get those guys. I'm like, they're not. Are they going to do that? And like it was like in my head.
They revealed that like last year, like a year and a half ago. It's crazy that they had cast Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Oh, did they? See, I don't, and I also don't watch late night shows. I don't watch any of that shit.
No,
and
I just like in the.
I have an app or not an app. What do you call like a plugin, whatever it is, like a Google thing.
Yeah.
It's called Unspoiler. It's really neat. Like if I go on IMDb,
it'll filter out for you.
It'll filter out like episodes. Like if somebody is like in the cast, but they're only because if you look on a cast list, Peter Dinklage is in 450 episodes, whatever, and then you're like whatever this character's in 73. You're like, oh, like
yeah, they die.
Like it automatically,
okay.
You know what's coming, and it blocks all that out.
So, all right. So with that, what we were saying about the Illuminati, because like everybody knew except for you that Professor X was in this. I knew Captain Carter was in this because she's on the poster.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
Like her shield is on the poster, and then Mordo was in the trailer.
I was that surprised Mordo was in it, but I was like I forgot that he was like it was when he showed up. I was like, oh yeah, he is in the first movie.
I don't know why they haven't brought him back earlier.
I wish that I remember that stinger at the end of the first one was like
where he's sucking powers.
It reminded me of Green Lantern.
Yeah,
where it was like, do you remember the after credit sequence in Green Lantern?
Is with Sinestro,
yeah, and Sinestro is a good guy the whole movie, and then but he wants to use the yellow ring,
right.
And then the after credit sequence, he like uses the yellow ring, gives like a big evil look, and like becomes the yellow, and I'm like, what are you doing? That's your whole second movie. You're blowing your whole. I mean, what? Like he's still a good guy. You can have a whole movie where he's conflicted. You can make a really badass thing,
right?
And again, they just turn him into a fucking lunatic.
Right.
Like he was reasonable the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's just like, no, now I'm going to be crazy. It's so weird.
It's weird that with Mordo, they never followed up on that whole, what he was doing at the end credits. Like we just see him again now. And granted, it's a different Mordo.
But Strange also referenced, like, it seems like he's been fighting Mordo like on the side. He's like, he's been trying to kill me. Like,
I would like to see that, but anymore, I don't care because they've already jumped past that. But so the last, and then Captain Marvel, she's in the trailer that everybody thought she was Tom Cruise. So did you hear about this?
No.
All right. So are you familiar with Superior Iron Man, the comic book run where Tony Stark has this like no face mask, but like this tiara and like silver armor?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I've read a bunch of Iron
It's
Man.
recent. It's like, it's within the last 3 years. That's the look. In one of the trailers, we see this character that looks in the snap.
I do remember hearing like rumblings of like I think I asked you, like, is Tom Cruise in the trailer?
Well, that's
because I know he was cast. They were trying to make an Iron Man movie in the 90s,
right?
And he was attached to it to play Tony.
Exactly. So with this, when people saw that, they're like, that's the Superior Iron Man armor, and they must have cast Tom Cruise because it's a multiverse, right?
Well, I was hearing that a lot, and I asked you, I'm like, is he in the trailer? And you were like, no, he's not.
Because people were being, of course he's not. Like the people, the comic, it was, no, I'm not saying that.
I mean,
I'm
saying like the way this movie went, like, of course he's, there's nothing that's off the table in this movie.
I know.
If Gilbert Gottfried would have showed up as the parrot in Aladdin, I'd have been like, all right, that tracks.
Multiverse, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this was totally, I'm deep into the comic book spec world, and people were specking on Superior Iron Man #1, and they were saying, oh, well, it must be Tom Cruise. Shut up, you idiot. It ended up being, it's not Maria Rambeau, her mom, I forget her name, as Captain Marvel from the, what was that, the WandaVision show? Or no, from Captain Marvel.
From Captain Marvel.
The movie.
Yeah.
So that's her. She was in the trailer. All right. So that leaves the last two guys. Okay. Which was a complete, for me, that was a complete surprise. You, I guess, got the whole team as a surprise, right?
Yeah. I didn't know the Illuminati. When he said Illuminati, I was like, Illuminati?
You know what I didn't like about that? They say Illuminati and he goes, Illuma-whatty?
Yeah, I was like, we've heard of
there's
the Illuminati.
There's a word that exists called Illuminati.
And you know what you're the Sorcerer Supreme. You're a surgeon. You know what that
you can just be a regular
They didn't
human.
make that up.
Yeah. You've heard about it. We've been talking about Illuminati since George W.
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, yeah. Joe Biden and George Bush are in it together, and they drink they drink kids' blood and feed it to Hillary Clinton. Clearly, obviously.
So when he said that was the only part in the movie that I was like, come on, like that's dumb.
Wouldn't it have been great if like you said, oh, we got to go talk to the Illuminati, and you go in there and it's like Hillary Clinton drinking like baby's blood, and she's like, gotta tell Dr. Strange, like, hey man, what you're doing, it's not working out. Let me introduce you to somebody, and like Jeffrey Epstein comes walking out.
Oh my god!
like he appears like Mr. Fantastic in the we introduce you to Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my god!
Like Bill Gates and
Elliot Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk is there. It would be awesome.
Oh my god! I'm
fucking JFK walks out. It's like, what is happening? It's it would be awesome.
I like what we got instead. It was good. I'd rather have that. So since you got to see them all, like boom, what was the one that was like, oh my god?
Well, I got to do each so it was Mordo. At first it was like, okay, cool, it's Mordo. All right. But then like he does everybody. First of all, he does Black Bolt, which I was like, Black Bolt, holy shit, that they actually did Black Bolt, and that they cast Inhumans Anson Mount, and they did the costume. They called him
Blackagar Boltagon.
Blackagar Boltagon. Yeah. I was like, wow, we're fucking holy shit.
Did you watch the Inhuman show?
No.
I don't think. Yeah, I didn't either.
I don't think anybody did.
Apparently, he's pretty good in it, or the best part of it, anyway.
But he can't talk in it though.
Yeah, well, he talks through what's her name, the hair woman, the one that they
but he doesn't have any lines. Like Anson Mount doesn't have any lines, right?
I hope he doesn't. That's how he is in the comics. But the fact that they put him in Black Bolt's one of my favorite characters in the comics, and there's not a lot. There's very few stories. I mean, there's a ton of Inhuman stuff, but the Inhumans aren't one of those characters or groups or teams that people are like, yeah, they're my favorite, because there just isn't a lot.
Yeah, in the last few years, they've been trying to push.
Yeah. Well, they've been trying to. The reason they've been trying to push is because Fox owned the X-Men and mutants, and they couldn't use them, so they tried to make the Inhumans the mutants, and it didn't work because that show failed. In the comics, they lost interest. But I think there's still, and hopefully this means they will do something with them. I
don't know. I think that's the last of it. Honestly, I think it was like,
if that's the case, then this was totally.
I can't believe how close. Well, that's the thing. I can't believe how close this was to the actual Illuminati. Like the real Illuminati. I was in the car on the way home explaining like the Illuminati was like in the comics. They were responsible for like Planet Hulk. Like they sent the Hulk to Sakaar, and like, and they did what they did with Sakaar in the movies. It was fine. But like when he started doing the roster and like Black Bolt was there, I'm like, are you gonna do Namor? Like, are we gonna have?
I think this would have been a great time to introduce Namor. That's the one.
I don't know. Namor's a lot. He's a lot, and he's not even like a big holy shit guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's especially the way that it goes for these guys. It wouldn't have been like if you kill Namor real fast, it's like, nobody's gonna be jonesing for more Namor. You know, like Namor is a guy you need. He's I feel like you could really do a good Namor, but you need time. Like you got to Jamie Lannister him up, where like the first couple times you see him, you're like, this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then like, but the second or third movie, you're like, I really like this guy.
Yeah,
like
totally.
this guy, you know.
Totally.
But like, yeah, more Ramsay Bolton, but like, do you know what I mean? Just like
I hope they do
not like a psycho, but
yeah, I hope they do that.
Yeah, just like where you enjoy how cunty they are. You know what I mean? Like he's
Do you think though that like with what you said about Jones and for the more of them, like how do you think that plays into the rest of these characters?
So okay, you got Black Bolt. I think they're done with him. Like
the way he died, man, was like I didn't like the portrayal of his character in this at all. It was cool to see him.
Mm-hmm.
But if you noticed, every time they showed him, like they did the flashback with Thanos, where he steps up and just blasts Doctor Strange, he always has the smirk, a very arrogant smirk on his face, and that's not the character of Black Bolt. Even when he died, he walks up and he's like, whoever it is says, I could just have Black Bolt to the Scarlet Witch. I could just have Black Bolt destroy you and like that. And then she takes his mouth away, but he has a look on his face like the smirk, like yeah. And it's like, that's not Black Bolt. Black Bolt is a very humble, because he's so powerful. All he has to do is just whisper and and he destroys your planet. So I didn't like the portrayal of him. It was cool to see him. And I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know Anson Mount really at all.
He's in the new Star Trek.
That I'm looking forward to.
That's out.
Really?
Yeah, whatever. I'm not watching it. I mean, unless I hear it's like the second coming, I'm not.
I heard it was really good.
Was Star Trek bots on Twitter?
How much Star Trek
is
actually
been praising
really
Star Trek for the last 3 years. Anyway,
so anyway, him. I mean, the way he died was crazy.
It was wild, but and that was really. I wish they would do more shit like that from Wanda. Like I wish she manipulated reality more.
Yeah,
and I get why they don't do it because
instead of red laser beams.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. They have to like Wanda, and in the comics, Black Bolt's like this too. But like they're a character that like you have to write around.
Yeah,
you know,
Superman.
Yeah, but at least Superman is like it's for some reason it works in the comics. Like they're not constantly making him lose all his powers or like whatever. But like Captain Marvel, she feels like forced the regular Captain Marvel feels so forced into the MCU that like, and at the weirdest time, every scene she's in takes me out of it because it doesn't make any fucking sense. She just flew through a spaceship and then she's fighting Thanos and she's having a hard time with Thanos, who's also having a hard time with Iron Man. If he's having, you know what I mean? If he's having a hard time with Captain Marvel, he should blow through Iron Man.
Right.
You know, or I'm sorry, if you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It doesn't, and with Thor and Captain America, I can get there. She's always late. Like it doesn't, like you have to be like, oh, she's all over the galaxy. She's got it, whatever. And it's like this fight, you had to be late for this one. Like you could have ended it on it. You could have ended it, whatever. Like, and she's just a thing you have to write around because she's so powerful in this. And that's the thing about the multiverse. You can be like, hey, maybe in that universe she's not that powerful, but they drop a rock on her. And that's how they kill her.
It's not the same. I think actually she in this movie, I think her power her power was coming from these things on her forearms, and I think those are the negabands, which are associated with Quasar.
Okay,
and so I think this is a differently powered Captain Marvel.
Okay, I mean it didn't take me out of it, but like
the Captain Marvel you're talking about, the real one, the power is like her. It's in her.
Yeah,
I think this one was her suit. So.
All right, and I'm not, I wasn't expecting it to be the Captain Marvel movie. Now that Captain Marvel is here,
Also, wait, before you move on, don't you think that when Black Bolt died and he screams and it blows out of his brain, don't you think it would have blown out of his mouth first?
Oh, I don't know.
And he wouldn't have died.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it depends how much of her mouth.
Like are his lips that strong?
I mean, did she also make her teeth his teeth? Because you would think it would blow out the front of his face, but
right?
I don't know. Maybe this was all like there was no mouth at all. There was just throat and brain.
It was crazy. It was crazy death.
That was wild. And that's what I mean about like, so then he's introducing everybody and I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. They do Black Bolt. Neat. And then who was next?
Well,
Captain Marvel. And then, Captain Carter. Captain Carter, I was like, oh, cool. They're doing that. But also I wasn't surprised because people seem to really like Captain Carter. And I don't mind her at all. I didn't love
What If. You watched
What If. I didn't love her episode of What If. Like But I like when she's around. Like I like she's like 7 feet tall, and I like her. She's fine.
She was my dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it's an awesome character,
an awesome figure. Too. She was my favorite episode.
I'm wondering why aren't they just calling her Captain Britain?
Captain Britain is completely different.
Well, yeah, I know
that, it makes sense,
but he's not in the MCU.
Moniker.
And I don't think they're gonna put him in. I don't know. You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they're going with Blade. I think they're going to go the route of MI13, which is supernatural, and that incorporates Captain Britain and all that stuff. So, plus Betsy Braddock, you bring in the mutants, Psylocke. That's their brother and sister.
Yeah, they're brother and sister. But I don't think I did. Yeah, there was a run where they were. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
I see what you're saying. She looked. Obviously, the cartoon was drawn to her, but seeing her, I was like, holy fuck.
It's a good design. It really is.
Yeah. I love the jetpack.
But yeah, the jetpack. But and I dug that. I liked her. What else? Oh, okay. So yeah, let's get to the big two. The John Krasinski reveal was like, holy shit. It was like okay movie. I'm impressed. You know what I mean? Like, great. Like everybody. I mean, they were doing that when they were casting Doctor Strange. He wasn't my first choice, but I got it. And then he was the big put. Everybody wanted him to be Doctor Strange. And that's how it's been with, this guy is with Krasinski.
Well, Krasinski was 100% fan cast. It was like,
yeah, I mean, but it works. It 100% works.
I just don't know where that idea came from that fans wanted him. Like, I wouldn't have picked him originally.
I wouldn't have, but like once they said it, I'm like, yeah, I'll take that for sure. Like I'm in for him.
Did you buy him as Reed Richards?
Yes, except, and I like that he shows up and he starts like throwing out like a bunch of like he's introduced as the smartest man in the world, Reed Richards,
right?
And then he starts talking about a bunch of like portals and a bunch of like science jargon. I just thought he went out and kind of like that was your plan. You just walked right up to this woman that can manipulate reality, and that your plan was to It
wasn't arrogance. It was dumbness.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one thing to be like, hey, I got Black Bolt here. The whole plan was
dumb.
Yeah, it was way dumb.
He's supposed to be the smartest man in the whatever.
Yeah, in the world.
In the room.
Like,
so,
I mean,
I don't know. That was weird.
It should have been him in the room.
It was fine, but it was weird.
While they're all out getting killed.
Yeah,
it should have been him in the room with Strange explaining shit instead of Mordo.
Yeah, they put. I think they put Mordo.
Did you notice the weird cut, by the way? So anyway, okay, so then they do Professor X, and then I was like, "What the fuck?" First of all, they had the music.
Music, dude.
That was
music
killer.
cue was amazing.
The music was awesome. It was just subtle enough, and they had the big fucking yellow wheelchair, and it looked so good. Patrick Stewart was, whatever. That was great. Then, they have the scene. Oh, hey, she's here, and the rest of them all go out there. Mordo stays behind for some reason to talk shit to Doctor Strange, and then Professor X is just gone. Like he's just not up there with him.
Right.
And it was like, where'd he go? Like
he's got to go. He's got to go. Like the
but there was no I get why they did it, because the scene of this elderly man, because Patrick Stewart is 100 years old now, being like, yeah, I'm gonna go deal with it, and going, and then Mordo, who's relatively young and in shape and has a sword, is being like, you got this, buddy. Like I'm gonna stay here and talk shit to Doctor Strange. It would have been weird. But there's no scene of him leaving.
But he is. Where does Patrick Stewart fall on the scale? I'm not Patrick Stewart, Professor X.
Yeah.
Where does he fall on the scale of power sets in comparison?
He's like an Omega level mutant. Like he can. Yeah, he's super. Is
Scarlet Witch also an Omega?
Yeah, she's like beyond him. She's insane.
She's like Phoenix Force.
Yeah, and I don't even know if she's like beyond it. But the problem is that she's nuts. That's the big concern. That's why House of M, my favorite part of the whole series, is the first issue where it's basically like the Avengers, all the Avengers and all the X-Men have a big meeting, and they're like, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Wanda's nuts, the way she's losing her mind. And it's like Captain America being like, it's not him selling it. He's like, they're like, I think we got to kill her. I think we got to kill her. There's nothing else we could do. She could destroy reality. What are we supposed to do? We don't know what to do. And it's cool that the Avengers bring in the X-Men, because she's been on both teams,
right?
And be like, hey, let's figure this out. And they have a debate. They all debate about it. for an issue and it's really great. Spider-Man is like,
it's awesome.
I didn't like, hey, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Wolverine, I think if I remember, I think Wolverine's like, I'll do it. Like he's like
totally,
and it's awesome because that's what you want. But
that's kind of like, what do you?
Yeah, when you write yourself in a corner and make someone that powerful.
Yeah. What do you do?
Then, you write like House of M, where it's like, okay, like we have a character that could just, literally unmake reality if they want to.
Right.
What do we do with it? Like, and that's my problem with Captain. Same with Captain Marvel. Like you have to write around. You have to be like, you have to pull Leonidas and you just missed her. Oh, like, like she could literally fix all these movies if she was just in them. You know what I mean? If she,
you have to. And I think at first I wasn't into like with them introducing the kids in WandaVision. I was like, man, what? But that really is the only kryptonite you can throw at her, is to either, to dangle them or to threaten them or to those kids. Otherwise,
but what I love about it. Yeah. And the kids, I like the kids, and I usually hate kid actors. I like the actors. I like that, like
they worked.
Well, and it's also like a big, like, ooh, it's a tease because they're part of the Young Avengers, and they're two of my favorite parts of that team. Like,
I don't think it'll be those characters though. When they do that, they'll do that, but it won't be them. I
wonder. I like that they took that from the comic too, because like, even though like she's nuts and she's like, no, these are my kids, it's like it grounds her. And like, while it's like she's not just a regular villain that's like evil, it's like, oh, I get it.
That's why I was saying, like, she's not, like, earlier, her intent isn't to be evil. Her intent is to get what she wants, but all she wants is her kids. It's not like she wants necessarily, I mean, yeah, she wants the power of the book
so she can get her kids,
get her kids, but she doesn't want to like destroy everyone, or
I mean, it's an understandable,
take anybody's cereal.
Yeah, it's an understandable position. Like, if you know what I mean, if your kids got blinked out of existence and you had the ability to bring them back, you would probably do it. You know Absolutely. What I mean? Like, and what would you? Yeah. At what point would you be like, all right, I'm killing people from other universe? Like, I don't know.
Well, and that's why I think it's that's where I really like the multiverse. I'm not a huge fan of the multiverse, the idea of it, but using the other her as the softening of the villain Wanda, she sees that, like, that her version of herself is happy with the kids and is okay. And that's where she finally goes, what am I doing? I think that's a great use of the multiverse, because outside of that, because like with these characters of the Illuminati, the big conversation right now is, oh, well, yeah, Professor X died, but that's not the Professor X from over here. Or we just got introduced to Reed Richards. He's dead.
And now he's dead.
But that's not going to be the Reed Richards. It's like, go fuck off. Like,
yeah, man. I'm tired of this shit.
How many times are we going to do that?
Yeah, exactly. We've been doing it like with WandaVision. It was like, oh shit. No, not really. Spider-Man, it was even like, I mean, Spider-Man, it was all this cool shit, but then it was like, and now it's just like, or even, dude, in the fucking second Spider-Man movie, like when it's like, oh, this is Mysterio, he's from another dimension, and they even say 616 in that movie, and then they say it again in this one, and like then it's like,
didn't that end up being a lie?
Yeah,
like a complete lie.
They just came up with 616 for some reason. Like,
I'm saying that Mysterio is from a different dimension.
Yeah, but
right?
Yeah, he wasn't really. He made all that up, but they still said that.
Right.
They still said 616 in that movie, which was weird, and they said it in this one too.
That was pre.
Yeah, and it was bullshit.
Well, the use in the third Spider-Man movie, the use of the multiverse, where, like in this movie, all the Doctor Stranges are Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Spider-Man movie, there was Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire were the different Spider-Man from the different universes. And Tom Holland's Spider-Man didn't know these villains. He was like, who are you? And what is, you're not mine, and this and that. But in this movie, I feel like the next time we see Professor X, I mean, I don't know. There's
no way it's going to be Patrick Stewart.
Do you think they're going to do Krasinski?
Yes, I think he's in. I think he's.
You think? All right. So see, that's like, where do you draw the line of, oh, there's a bunch of Krasinskis out there, or there's a bunch of
that's when
Patrick Stewart's out there.
Honestly, well, what's a bummer is they're probably not going to do. I was never a huge Fantastic Four person, but I got into them when Jonathan Hickman started writing them.
Okay.
One of the cool storylines, like they stole for Rick and Morty, and it's a major thing for Rick and Morty, is the Council of Reeds in the comics. Did you ever get to there?
Yeah.
I remember there was one dude. I was at a bar one time. There was a guy wearing a Marvel shirt, and he looked like a dork, but like a big dork. Okay, but he was in a bar. It was like late at night. Yeah, but he was skinny and had like a very unkempt beard, and like
you can still be sweaty.
Yeah, but I was like, you read comics, man? And he's like, I used to. I haven't read anything since like Civil War. It was probably a little after Civil War. I don't remember when this was. I was like, you should read them. They're really good right now. Like, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I used to read a ton of Fantastic Four and I loved it, man. But like, I don't know where to jump back on. And this is. And I would talk to this guy for like an hour and a half. And I saw this guy for years later. And this guy got back into comics based on like, I was like, dude, you know what's going on with Fantastic Four right now? Basically, he opened up this portal, and there's this entire society, and they're all Reed Richards. Everybody in the fucking universe is a Reed Richards, and you know how he's doing? He's doing all this shit. He's like meeting like mechanics that Reed, all this stuff. I'm like, he goes into like the people who run this. It's called the Council of Reeds, like the 5 like highest ranking like Reed Richards in all the multiverses. He goes in there. And there's like 3 of them, and they've all got fucking Infinity Gauntlets on. He's like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's awesome. And he's like, holy shit. I was like, yeah. And then like, awesome. I swear to God, this guy must have went to the store the next day and be like, what issue is it that has all the Reed Richards wearing Infinity Gauntlets? He was so excited. And then I'm telling you, every time I saw him for years, it was like, dude, are you reading this? And I dropped comics eventually. I'm like, I'm not reading that. Like,
that's funny, man.
Yeah,
I read to a certain point in Hickman's, and then he lost me with his overheadedness.
Yeah, I know. But like when he's good, man, he's right. He's great. You know,
was it that, or was it Ultimate Fantastic Four where the main villain is a Reed Richard?
Yeah, that's what's cool.
The Maker, I think.
Yeah, but it doesn't start. Ultimate Fantastic Four.
He has like a helmet.
Yeah, he's younger. It doesn't start like that. Like he becomes a villain over the course of that series, I guess.
Which one becomes
Reed?
Like the main Reed Richards?
The main Reed, yeah, is the villain.
Good guy from 616?
No. The main Reed from the Ultimate Universe becomes a villain.
From the Ultimate Universe or the Hickman Council of Reeds?
No, Hickman is 616.
Okay, so the Maker, the villain, is not in Hickman's run.
No, not that I know.
Okay, so that's Ultimate.
That's Ultimate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. But yeah, they won't do that storyline because it's not only is on Rick and Morty, it's a major part of that show. And like, I don't know, you don't watch Rick and Morty?
No.
A lot of that show I'm watching. I'm like, they stole that directly from Fantastic Four. Like a lot of the ideas. Oh. Yeah. And it's fun and great. And it was fun until I was like, oh, we can't get Council of Reeds now because there's literally a Council of Ricks.
I think they could do it. I mean, if they bring Krasinski back, which I think they will, then that means that there's a bunch of Krasinskis out there. And I think that they could go that route. That would be awesome to see. Imagine, especially having already gone through the Infinity Saga. Imagine we see the Council and they're wearing gauntlets.
Yeah.
People would lose their mind, dude.
It would be awesome.
Not just sweaties, but like general audience would be like, I know what that is.
And to have the villain of the movie be other Reeds, like, I mean, it's a cool idea. I mean, it's the reason Rick and Morty stole it. I'm really excited for these fantastic, but yeah, they're going to do it. I bet, I wonder, I forget where I heard it, but the rumor is that he's going to direct it.
Yeah. I heard that too. I think it was,
which I'm in for. Did you see A Quiet Place?
Oh yeah.
I didn't see the second one.
I didn't either. I was going to watch it tonight, actually.
That one, that's a bummer too. Cause that's a super theater movie.
It is. And you know what? So the side story, when I went to see that, I went to see it over here at the theater near my place, which has one of those axe throwing things at the bottom.
I've been to that theater. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
So the axe throwing place had just opened up and there was nothing covering it. It was just open air. And this is in the inside of that mall. People throwing axes, missing, hitting the concrete, ching, ching, all this shit. I go to the theater and it's like loud as fuck. And I'm like, can you hear those axes inside the theater? And the girl looks at me and she's like, yeah. And I was like, one for the Quiet Place, please. And I go in and I sit down thinking that I'd be okay. I don't know what I was thinking. I sit down in the theater and the whole movie is dead silent for like 90% of it. And all I hear
up and left.
And all I hear is ching, 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 ching. And I'm like, those motherfuckers, those suburbanite axe throwing idiots. Like,
dude, That was the first one, man. Was I mean, it was a movie that I was like,
it was good.
Telling people to see. Just, I mean, I thought the movie was pretty good. Yeah. It's a solid B plus. But like, you don't get that experience. You know what I mean? Like that, where people, like, you could hear other people in the theater breathing. You know, like it was awesome. Yeah, it was. Yeah, or throwing. I mean, I got to see it how you're supposed to see it.
Yeah,
but you know,
people in the theater though were respectful of that, and I want to see the second one and watch it at home. It's quiet, all that shit. But
yeah, but it's different at home because it's like, you know, you can pause it or like I think I would have fallen asleep if I would have watched A Quiet Place at home. Yeah,
that's awesome. I think you're right though. I think I don't know where I heard that. It was probably another podcast, but yeah, I think that he'll direct it, he'll star in it. It'll be good.
And you think Emily Blunt's going to be the Invisible Woman?
Are they married in real life?
Yeah, they're married in real life.
I guess that would be another fan cast, but she could be anybody. Sue Storm. I mean, as long as it's not Jessica Alba or
as long as they've got
piece of shit that they had in the Josh Trank movie, like
who is it in? Oh, it's what the hell's her goddamn name? House of Cards. It's
somebody.
Kate Mara.
Right. I think the key to that movie is who you cast as. I was gonna say Ben Grimm, but yeah, like because Michael Chiklis, no.
When they cast him, I was like, I like that. I mean,
really? But and the little kid in the Josh Trank movie, it's like, what?
No, he wasn't a little kid in the Josh Trank movie. No, he wasn't. He was a guy.
He's a scrawny little dude. Ben Grimm is big for a person.
Sure.
And that kid,
but he
doesn't
have to be. Like, I mean, I get it, but like he can be that after he turns into a rock person.
I think, yeah.
I'm more concerned with Johnny, to be honest. Like the casting of Johnny is important.
I think Chris Evans, man, did a good job.
I do too.
What if they brought him back? Multiverse, dude.
Fuck that. Although I'll tell you, man, like when they cast him as Captain America, I was like, I don't like it.
Absolutely, I agreed. I was like,
you ever hear the story? Do you know they wanted Krasinski? Like they were considering Krasinski, and he put on the mask.
Yeah,
I was like, nope.
No, and that was his ears were distracting as Reed.
I would think it would be his nose. He's got that big,
the nose too. Yeah. But see, we saw that with John Walker, U.S. agent, because the mask didn't do him any favors either with his nose. Chris Evans, he nailed it. You know,
dude. When they cast, because Chris Evans was in a lot of shit, and he was like he was the funny guy, and he was this and this, and I was like, dude, I remember saying like Captain America's got to be a guy that's like he's got to have like dad energy, but like strong. Like I'm like he's got to be able to order Iron Man around. He's got to be like if he caught you doing something, like you'd feel like a fucking asshole. And like he nailed it. He's so good.
I agree. I can't see Captain America or Steve Rogers as anybody else but Chris Evans. But did you see Aaron Eckhart in a movie called Battle Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember his character in that?
I saw it in theaters.
I did too. It was straight up Steve Rogers, the character he played.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that and afterwards just being like, they hadn't cast Captain America yet, or if they did, it was the movie hadn't come out, and I was just like, that is Captain America.
I would hate it.
Really, I love Aaron Eckhart.
You know who? See, Aaron Eckhart. He's another one. I mean, I like the actor, but he takes me out. Like, I don't even like him as Two-Face.
Really?
I mean, I like Two-Face in the movie, and I like
what else have you seen Aaron Eckhart in that like?
He just hates me, and I like the actor. But I don't know what it is that he just takes me out of it.
He doesn't really do anything like movies. I don't know.
I think he's in Thank You for Smoking. That's a good movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie. But it's not like Samuel L. Jackson where it's like all you see is jewels. You know?
No. That's not even what's going on with him. He's just like, I don't know. He's always just like,
I am the Batman.
But you know who my dream not Reed Richards, Captain America is?
Matt Damon.
I mean, no, it's impossible. You can't cast him. But like, I want Robert Redford from like the 70s. Yeah. That to me is like when they cast him in Captain America, I'm like, oh, someone else agrees with me because that's totally why he's in this movie.
That's why he's in it. Totally.
Like he's perfect. He has like, you ever see The Last Castle?
Yeah.
That's the Steve Rogers energy.
Sure.
Where it's like, everybody's like, oh man, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
totally.
Like
he was awesome.
Rest
in peace. He's not dead, but like he's getting there. That dude looks like leather. Like he looks like leather.
He's still doing movies though. He did.
Is he?
Yeah, he did a movie. Like I think he said he's officially retired, but he's done like 2 movies since then.
All right. So here's the question. So the you almost hit on this earlier, but the original, or the Illuminati is a revolving. There's members who are always in it, but sometimes it changes.
I remember when it was new, and like I don't know any of the newer.
The first Illuminati was Doctor Strange,
Professor X,
Black Bolt,
Iron
Namor,
Man,
Black Bolt,
Iron
Man, Black Panther.
Black Panther. Right?
Yeah, 6. Was it 6? It's always 6. All right, so that's the bunch, but there's members that come and go, and sometimes there's different members. Do you think like this Illuminati obviously is a lot of placeholders? We're not going to see Captain Marvel, Captain Carter. They're not going to be Illuminati.
I bet Captain Carter's going to come back. She might not be in the Illuminati, but
oh yeah, we'll see her again. I really hope. I love her. But as far as the Illuminati goes, I don't think this.
I think it's done.
You really? Because they play such an interesting role in the comics, man.
Yeah,
as far as like being this secret thing, because we didn't get that in this movie. In this movie, we didn't get what they had been in. What they have been like puppet masters of. Yeah,
but they're kind of if they did the 616 Illuminati, unless they break up in the movie, it kind of like what are you going to do with it? You can't ever you can't do any more movies without being like checking in on the Illuminati. You know what I mean?
They, by killing off these guys and also by including members who are not traditional to the comics, I think that it's a red herring that you could later on. And I'm talking down the road once we've established, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and a new Iron Man, which I think is inevitable, and Black Panther and Namor, all that stuff needs to be reestablished or established. I think then you could come back to the Illuminati down the road, because there's so much good stuff that comes out of that with the Dark Avengers and the Dark Illuminati. Remember that?
I didn't get to Dark. I remember Dark Avengers. I don't remember the Dark Illuminati.
The Dark Illuminati was led by the Hood. Do you remember the Hood?
Yeah, I know the Hood. Yeah.
Awesome character, which hopefully they'll do. And it was I don't know, Norman Osborn, all these crazy assholes. But there's just so much stories that you could do. I don't know. I hope we get.
Yeah. The thing is, I feel like the Illuminati. Whatever. If they don't ever come back to it, I'm not too worried about it. Yeah. But that's what I mean. It just kind of was and I understand that's kind of what phase 4 is for, to test the waters and see what works and what doesn't.
Is that what we're in right now? 4?
Yeah.
Are we at the end of it?
No. We've got another year of it.
Okay.
We've got the Black Panther 2 in November, and then there's a lot of TV shows. There's 4 more TV shows or something supposed to be this. She-Hulk comes out this year.
Right.
Ms. Marvel comes out this year. I think the Marvels comes out this year.
Wait, that's too much.
No,
we've got Thor, and you said Black Panther, and then I know we've got Miss Marvel and She-Hulk and TV. I think that's it. Those 4.
And we got the Guardians of the Galaxy thing at the end of the year.
Oh, it's like a special, right?
It's like a special. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that there's no dates, but it's I think it's 2022. The Marvels I think it's this year.
What is that? The Marvels?
The Marvels. That's Miss that's what Captain Marvel 2 is called. The movie.
Marvels? Oh.
Yeah, because they're going to do Miss Marvel, the TV show.
Right.
And then Kamala Khan is going to be in the Marvels.
Really? I didn't know.
Yeah, it's going to be Brie Larson and probably
mentor stuff.
Who knows? I don't know. They really don't have anything to do with each other. If you think about it. But get back to this movie. The Illuminati thing, it's a big deal, but it doesn't really end up being a big deal. You know what I mean? It just is here's these fucking 6 things. Holy shit. And then they're all dead.
Did you like the fight scene?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Basically the fight scene is just Captain Marvel and Captain Carter, because everybody else is taken out.
Yeah.
What'd you think about the way the Professor X stuff?
I thought it was pretty raw, man. It was cool that it was okay, I'm going to try and, and I like they added effects to his brain stuff. He wasn't just doing this, they had the whole thing.
But his whatever dream or whatever that thing was in the White Room where he dies.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart looks he just looks so frail in his eyes.
He's so old.
His eyes. It's his eyes.
He took a deep, he aged. He went from being 50 forever.
Yeah.
To being now he's 100. The writing and everything else, everything about it is terrible, but it's also just sad to be God damn it, dude, you're 100 years old and they're you're saying this stupid bullshit. They've got him. Oh.
It was cool though. I'm glad that he got to come back to Professor X, probably for the last time, I guess.
I'd say that's my biggest criticism of Logan is that it's well, like I like the movie, but like you don't like the movie at all.
Fuck that movie, man.
Okay, my whole thing about that movie is like
all those movies, they're trash.
It's neat. Yeah, I don't honestly. I agree with you about that, but like that's the thing. Like it acts like everything is just so disposable. Like literally, the entire everything that the X-Men have been working for like what 11 of these movies all just didn't work out off screen. It's just like, oh yeah, all the mutants died and there was a virus and that's it. Yeah. And then Professor X is like free. Like when I was a kid and like you got like inspired by Professor X's like dream, and it's like. Nah, he died. You get stabbed in the back of a pickup truck. That's what happens to Professor X. Yeah. It's just like, what is this? Like, this sucks.
The problem with that whole universe is that the people that made every one of those movies didn't give a shit about the X-Men. And maybe Bryan Singer is a bag of shit, but maybe that first movie there was a little bit of care that went into it, but that was mostly because it was the first. Arguably, I mean, Blade was the first. But nobody, the first new age superhero movie, but that doesn't count for anybody. The X-Men was arguably the first big.
It was the first superhero. People say Blade is, but that's stupid. By that metric, Howard the Duck is the first one because it's based on a comic book. Like it's
the Doctor Strange movie from 1973 is the first one, which I own, by the way. But no, that's so. When I remember sitting in the theater watching that first X-Men movie and just being like, oh my God, this is awesome. Yeah. But then after you see the next bunch of or the rest of them, it's like, oh, they don't give a shit. All they want to do is cast a fresh face and give them the name of a character, and that's it. And dress them in black. Fuck off.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they don't even want to. Yeah, don't even start on those fucking movies.
But having Patrick Stewart come back in this role as actually Professor X, in a visual version of Professor X that we all as comic book fans know and love, like that Jim Lee era is seminal. It's awesome. Yeah. They put the music. It was great. I'm glad he got to finally play Professor X.
Let me ask you this, because it was just in my head that like, okay, well maybe they'll do like if I'm doing an X-Men movie for Disney, they probably won't put it in the 60s because they already did that. But set it. I think you do the original roster. You do Professor X getting the band together. You know what I mean? Like, and you do the original 5. But what was that line that Doctor Strange had to read when he was like, "Oh, it's Reed Richards and Fantastic Four"? He said something like, "Didn't you guys say so?" He said like something.
People have been talking about this line because I don't think anybody was really listening when he said it. I think
everybody was shitting their pants.
Right.
Reed Richards just showed up.
I think he said, "Didn't you guys
peak right in the 70s?" Or
track.
The 60s?
I think he said track in the 70s. And what he was referring to is the name, because do they say Fantastic Four? Yeah.
Yeah. He says Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. And he says, didn't you guys track in the 60s? And I think what that is referring to is the Fantastic Four sounds like a band from the 60s. But it's also I think it's a reference to that, the sound of the Fantastic Four. It's also a reference to the fact that they were created in the 60s. But people are making it into something that it's not, and I think that's what all it is.
It could be that they went to space in the 60s, and who knows? It'll be, I don't know.
I think it was a joke. I don't think it was a reference to how we're going to be introduced to the Fantastic Four. I don't think it has anything to do with that. But that's what people are trying to do.
It's Fantastic Four comes out at the end of next year, right? Or they haven't even said. They don't even have a release date.
I don't even know.
They don't have a release date yet. They said it. I think it's the last movie in Phase 4 though.
Really?
Yeah, and we've got all this year, and then we've got all of next year. Like we got Ant-Man 2 is next year.
That's crazy.
Or I'm not Ant-Man 3. Ant-Man 3 is next year.
What's that one called? The Multiverse of Madness or something?
No, it's called Quantumania.
Quantumania. But that's going to be more. Well, that's maybe the quantum realm, but whatever.
But there's something else to it too. That was the other thing. I was expecting him to close the multiverse in this, like to be like, okay, we're done with it now.
No, because Kang. You watched Loki, right?
Yeah.
That's where this all started. The purple laser beams.
This is really starting to feel like they're not talking to each other.
No, it'll trust me, man.
You know what I mean? Like
Feige.
I know.
I try not to put tons of faith into a person.
His always Sunny in Philadelphia board. That the meme. With
I don't watch that show.
There's the meme of him in front of. All right, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 where he's got like where he's got a big wall full of shit, like, and it's a bunch of like post-it notes with strings tied to other strings.
Sure.
Like Feige's got to have a room like the size of Scrooge McDuck's vault at this point, but that's just that. Like, okay, Black Panther is going to be in this.
I can't reach
this. Like, I mean, because I remember at the end of Loki, they talk about how the multiverse breaks. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's gonna lead into this. That's why this is happening. But like, it's not.
Well, but in Loki, we're seeing the multiverse from a different perspective. In Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, I'm going to put them together because in Loki, they're not in the 616, even though he's from this. Well, he's not even from.
No, he's not even from the 616.
He's a different one. So we're seeing it from a entirely different. We're seeing it from outside the window. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man are in the room, cracking that window, so it can still all work. You see what I'm saying?
But isn't at the end of Loki? Isn't it seems like the multiverse is like created?
No, it's revealed. I think is the way I look at it. It's always been there. It's just that because the whole point was like
they were there to cut the branches of the time and be like, no, we have one timeline here, and we're not
the Kang we meet, which is not Kang yet, but the Kang that we meet at the end of Loki who dies. Remember, his whole thing is if you kill me, I'm keeping this together, and if you kill me, it's all cut loose or it's all open, and they kill him and he dies. She kills him. So that means that basically like the keeper of the multiverse in a lot of ways is gone. So now it's every man for himself. As far as the multiverse goes, it's let loose. It's revealed. In Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, they're entering into the same multiverse, but from a different doorway is how I look at it. So,
okay. I mean, it's fine. Yeah.
It'll all tie together.
It's getting to be a lot. And it's a lot for, you know what's going to happen eventually? It's going to be like, I'm going to be in the theater like, and be like my wife, where like, you know what I mean? Like if Moon Knight shows up in this movie, she's like, who is that? And I'm like, that's Moon Knight. He's got a whole other show. But like, you know, or like Daredevil, like when Daredevil caught the brick, it was like, she was like, what was that about?
It was awesome.
That's Daredevil. He's from a different show. Like, you know, like,
that's the best part of that movie.
That was awesome. That was a cool, but it brings in all these other things. So wait, so those are in continuity then, right? Like
that's 616, all that stuff that we're seeing.
Right. All the Netflix shows though, they happened. Like that's
616.
That's wild.
Except for Loki, because Loki is about going in places.
Yeah. I just mean it's crazy to reckon that they're like,
as far as the mess of it that you're talking about, that it looks like it's approaching. If you think about it, Marvel really only needs the multiverse for a few characters, and then they can shut it or do away with it, because
they need to clean this up because it's gonna get messy.
But first they need to introduce Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, or Spider-Gwen. There's a couple characters that they need to pull from the multiverse into the 616, and then they can shut it off. And I think it'll be Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, and some Fantastic Four characters, maybe even the Fantastic Four. And that's where they're going to come from. But more specifically, I really do think they're going to do the Maker and touch on the Ultimate Universe. So
I don't think they're going to bring Miles from the multiverse.
Really?
I think he's already around. He just isn't Spider-Man yet.
It's possible. But doesn't Miles Morales' character isn't the crux of his character the fact that his Peter Parker died?
No, I mean his Peter does die and then he becomes Spider-Man, but I don't think it has a lot to do with Peter. I don't know. I stopped reading Ultimate Spider-Man when Peter died. I didn't keep reading it. And apparently it got really good when they brought in Miles. But
that's where in the comics Miles is from.
Yeah,
the Ultimate Universe, and he's now in the 616. So I think I don't know,
but they destroyed his universe,
right? Incursion. Didn't we talk about incursions in Doctor Strange? Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, because that was the whole.
You think they're gonna do Ultimatum?
Ultimatum. Oh my God, there's so many. No, they won't.
Of course, they're not gonna do Ultimatum.
Yeah, it's
the most insane comic you've ever.
It's garbage for the most
part. It's insane.
All right, let's get past.
Let's
go with, I think the last two things that we need to cover are the ending, zombie, but also, all right, we'll get to the other one last. But so the final act of the movie is my favorite part. I mean, it's the most. I think it's the most Sam Raimi. It's the most horror, I guess, of the movie.
Yeah, him like puppeteering like a corpse of like,
Yeah,
and it was cool because it brought back the corpse from the beginning of the movie, and
right.
It was cool. I dug it, and I liked that he got in there and he didn't know what to do. He was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna." And I didn't love Rachel McAdams. I was gonna ask. I could take her or leave her in the first one. Like, I feel like you could have recast her literally with anybody.
Well, she actually had like a role.
Had stuff to do in this one, man.
It was great.
Like I thought she was really good in this, and
I liked her as the scientist, but I really liked her when she was like almost like the keeper of Strange's body as he left, and because he tells her, he's like, "There's a good chance demons are going to come for my body because I'm breaking rules," and she's like, "Okay," and he's like, "So you need to protect me." And at first I'm like, "How's she going to do that?" But as the scientist, or the kind of scientist that she was, she has knowledge of all these things that are inside that sanctum sanctorum. And that's where she I like that scene where she's like, "Okay, wait, what is this? What is it? Oh, this is the thing." And she like lights the thing and blasts them. Like, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Cool use of
I thought that was cool. The like evil Doctor Strange, I was like, it seemed like they were going for like a holy shit. And it was just like, no, he's sad and has a different haircut. And there's not that much. Oh wow. Like, I wasn't that. And then the music fight.
That's what I was going to ask you about.
I wasn't feeling it. I really was. And I felt like it was supposed to be the thing. It was supposed to be like a, wow, that was really, really neat. And like, I wasn't feeling it. I mean, I thought it looked cool, but it also was like, I don't think Doctor Strange is like doing that. Like it seemed like not vanity, but it seemed like almost it's like magician shit. You know what I mean? Like,
he's a wizard.
Like, magic. Yeah, but showy. You know what I mean? Like,
it was very like,
look Fantasia. How neat this looks. It was. And it was cool. It was, don't get me wrong. It was neat, but it was just like, and maybe it came at the wrong point in the movie. You know what I mean? Like
it did kind of stop the movie for a minute,
and it made it. Yeah, it was a real heavy part of the movie, and then that was really lighthearted and fun. Yeah, like during a real bummer scene.
What was the reason that they went to that specific in the first place?
What do you mean that specific?
They went to find that Doctor Strange. But what was the reason that they went there? Like, for what? I forget.
I think they needed him.
I don't know. Do they need?
I did like when he was like, "Well, who would know that? Oh, I would from this one."
Oh,
okay,
right.
We have to go find. Yeah, and that's what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like him going to other multiverses, but we didn't. We didn't get that.
I feel like with that, they splash through different multiverses when they're like, when he and her are splashing through, and that's the extent of showing the multiverses, and I think they'll come back to it. The multiverse is going to be here for a few movies, I think, before they shut it down.
This Illuminati, what I just thought about? I guess I assumed they were all from different multiverses, but like those were all the versions from this universe,
from that one universe, right?
All right.
So that's why I was saying we could get another one in the 616 once they reestablish all those. Finally, those characters. I don't know.
Yeah, and it would be different people, and
if it exists there, why not elsewhere? I don't know.
What
because the idea, it's the
idea. Who we haven't talked about. Oh, the big the one thing I have notes on actually. Well, the two things. One, were you watching for? Well, one is Bruce Campbell. It was just great I was glad he showed. It
was straight up Ash. It was awesome.
It was awesome. It was great.
I feel bad, man, because they've been threatening to put Bruce, like, he was supposed to be the original Mysterio.
But even that was only going to be like for 5 seconds.
Which it would have been so good. He would have been such a great Quentin Beck. I wish that Bruce Campbell had been a player in the Marvel universe. But seeing him is always good.
It was cool. He had a whole thing. I didn't see the car.
I did.
But I wasn't looking for it until at the end. I'm driving home like, fuck. I said like, I wasn't looking for the car. God damn it.
You know where it was?
I think I looked it up. Isn't it in the
It's in the final universe where everything's fucked up and floating, and they walk past, and there's like on the streets, there's like this red. It looks like the Flash is running through the streets, and in that universe, and they pass a bunch of cars.
Oh yeah. I was wondering what that thing was going to be, and it just wasn't any.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of cars just sort of floating and spinning, and they blatantly show Raimi mobile just sitting there like. Whoosh.
I don't know why it didn't pop in my head when I saw it, but yeah, it should have.
It's got that color, you know, that pale yellow.
It's like a brownish, When I saw Bruce Campbell, I had the thought like I was literally looking for the car in the background when he showed up. I was like, oh yeah, and then I'm looking for the car because that scene's in like a city,
right?
And like so then I'm looking at all the cars in this, you know. But yeah, for those that don't know what we're talking about, Sam Raimi puts Bruce Campbell and he puts his 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88 in every one of his movies. The car from Evil Dead.
Right. I'm glad you have the make and model on that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I had an Oldsmobile. I didn't have it. My uncle did, but like we had an Oldsmobile when I was a kid.
Really?
That's awesome. They were cool cars, man.
Sure. Oldsmobile.
They still make Oldsmobiles?
Probably. I don't know. Do they make cars anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, I looked in the station wagons the other day because I saw a station wagon driving. I'm like, oh, I want a station because I like vans.
Okay.
And I was like, I want a fucking station wagon. And it was like a family truckster. It was a green with wood paneling. And I was like, that I want one.
That's insane.
Yeah. But I Googled it and like the only people that made like Buick made that one, but like not like companies make them. And the ones that do, they're like really expensive. Like I want to say like, it's like Audi. It's some like really luxury place makes station wagons.
Really?
It makes them nice. And it's like
my very first car was my family's hand-me-down Chevy Celebrity, 1984 Chevy Celebrity station wagon, and it was like driving a dent. It was just a big dent. All it was.
Yeah, cars were cars.
Cars were cars.
That's the problem with buying cars now. Like every time I'm looking for a car, I hate it. I'm like, these all look like fucking electric razors. Like I want a car that looks like a fucking car.
I didn't have a ton else. I don't know, man. I just wish that like I could sit down and watch that last when the zombie scene. Like I just want to watch that again right now. It was just so good. I really, really dug it.
Yeah.
The visual of like the hands coming over and clasping like this. If you look at the images online, they're like, you can really see like how the cloak is formed and like just him like flying through the air like that. It was so awesome.
I'm really excited to rewatch this one. And I usually am not. I'm usually like, I saw it and I'm done. But
especially, did you finish Moon Knight?
No, I got 2 episodes in and I didn't give up on it. I was just like,
finish it. We'll talk about it.
I will eventually.
We'll talk about it next week or whenever you finish.
But yeah, the one thing was the after credit scene in this. Finally know how my wife feels when we go see these movies.
Oh, with Clea,
and she was like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "I have no fucking idea who that was."
Well,
like, wow, that's what this is like because it felt very underwhelming.
This is something I don't know how it must have leaked before the movie. I heard a rumor of Charlize Theron cast as Clea, but it's Clea Strange. So she was introduced in the 70s,
married, right? In the comics?
In the 70s, they were like a thing. And now current comics have brought her back. And I believe because there's that miniseries that just ended, The Death of Doctor Strange. They killed him. And she's the new Sorcerer Supreme, which makes sense, which ties into the mandate. Yeah, it tracks with the mandate, if there is one in this movie, of introducing her at the end. So,
I thought you were talking about something else. That was when, like, I don't know, never mind. I could get into it, but there was a point a few years ago where it was like, wait a minute, it's like, what's going on here? They killed what happened to Wolverine? Hey, where's Wolverine? Oh, they killed him, and now there's a girl Wolverine. Oh, okay. What's hey, where's Captain America?
This is going to be. I think this is going to be more of she basically says like, you fuck things up, we got to go fix it. And he's like, okay. So I think this is going to be, like I said, there's going to be more multiverse. So they're going to go wherever she's from, I'm guessing, and she's the Sorcerer Supreme there.
That probably, it probably makes sense that like that's where they close it. Like they figure out what they want to do with the multiverse, what they want to pull out of it, whatever. And then the next Doctor Strange movie is where they shut it.
Yeah, that'll be the case. It'll be like 2 bookends. So
yeah, the only kind of took the teeth out of that ending though. Like the ending was like, oh wow, like when that third eye grew out of his head,
and he's like, this is, and then all of a sudden he's fine.
I was like, whoa, what that's it, fucking A, cool. Yeah. This is neat. That's a great way to. That's a Sam Raimi way to end a movie.
Totally.
And then And then like this little one was just kind of like,
I'm okay. I'm okay. Everything's good.
Yeah, I'm okay. Hey, I got a third eye now.
I think the last thing I just wanted to touch on is just the Scarlet Witch ending. Like, how do you feel about that? Where they ended with her?
I mean, I thought like when they crushed her with rocks, I was like, probably wouldn't kill the Scarlet. It was the same as when they dropped the rock on Captain Marvel. I was like,
yeah,
is that going to do it? I don't know.
I don't think. Do you think it was intended?
I think it was like, yeah, he leaves this open. Like, if she shows up in the next movie, it's not even like no one even has to bring up like, I thought you died. Like, it wasn't like somebody shot her in the head. Like, it was just.
I think she'll come back, but I don't see the story.
I feel like this is the close. I think she's done. Because like the only other thing to do with her is House of M, and like, what are you going to do then? It's like, oh, she's already nuts. Like, this was and honestly, you can't really redeem her after that. She went fucking nuts. She killed a lot of people in this movie.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't think you can.
I just don't see. It didn't feel. It was like, when they killed Black Widow, it was like, all right.
Yeah, there was like finality to it.
Yeah. This just obviously doesn't feel that way. So,
well, also like seemingly like, Vision's still out there.
Yeah. White Vision.
And that's really the one. When I think of Scarlet Witch and Vision as like a couple, I think of White Vision.
I was really surprised we didn't see any version of Vision at all in this. That was weird.
And they would have to pay him. Like, that's it. Like, I mean,
but he's not done. I mean, he's still in the Marvel.
No, he's still around. I mean, not even in a flashback.
Yeah. Or like it's the multiverse, and he's arguably the bigger reason almost that she went bananas.
And also that was another, like, I mean, they kind of just swept over that, but like, how do they really exist in all these other universes? Like, he's an android.
Well,
are they his kids?
No, like in the other universes, you're talking about him, or you talking about the kids?
The kids, like I mean,
they're 100% made from her. Like her
like she manifested two like living beings, and they just exist.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Which is weird that she just can't do that. Why doesn't she just do that in the 616?
I mean, seemingly she's new to being the Scarlet Witch in that. I don't know, but then again, yeah,
two new kids. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I don't feel like this is the end to her contract.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you can do the whole town. Like, you can turn that cornfield into a forest. Like, just make the kids.
Yeah.
No, nobody's just make them.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird.
Why can't you make them?
It's kind of a big plot hole, but
I mean, why can't you just do that?
I think we just ruined the whole movie.
Wouldn't it be great if that's how it ended? Where he was like, just make them. I don't care. I don't care. They're not real. Just fucking fine. Go make them. Go live in your fucking forest. Fine. Yeah. There at any point was there like a
suggestion?
I mean, because that's the big sad part of WandaVision is that she has to erase the whole town.
Yeah.
And then because of that, she has to erase the entire illusion. So she has to erase Vision, and she has to erase the kid, which is like very sad. And like, okay, she's coming to this kind of sort of totally takes the rug out from that thing, though.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, no, like, I'm gonna go be crazy. But like, why not just make? Yeah. What did she have like a mental block at the end of WandaVision or something that she can't just make kids?
And why do the whole town? Why not just do the two kids and go get an apartment?
Yeah, just go get
or a condo. Get a
you
condo.
don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to do the whole town. Yeah, just make the kids.
You got anything else?
No.
Bruce Campbell got the last laugh.
Yeah, it was fun.
You got the last laugh.
That was fun.
Like, it was straight up, like, just straight up.
I mean, that was the other. There was so many like, dude, he's just doing Evil Dead. There was didn't she put her hand in like a mirror at one point? And I was like, that's right. That's an Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they kind of got him because they were like, hey, we want to do like that's why I like that they got him, and they were like, do your thing. Like, we're hiring you to do the Sam Raimi thing.
Sure.
Instead of being like, hey, you're talented, and like, just make our movies now.
Right. No, he made a Sam Raimi movie. I mean, there were things obviously that they were like, just make sure you include this and this, but I don't think his creative visions were twisted or handcuffed, hamstringed, whatever. The only thing that I think with Bruce Campbell and the whole Raimi thing with the multiverse, man, that was your shot when they're dimension hopping or whatever. Land in a dimension where Bruce Campbell is Captain America, just for a second.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Just for a second.
Did you see that?
And his suit's too tight, and he's old.
I don't think they like. I don't like it either. The whole like, some people look different in other universes. I like if we're gonna do other universes, they look like the people there. You know, like I like that Doctor Strange looks like
he could be an older, heavier Chris Evans.
I guess, but it doesn't have the impact. Like it doesn't have the impact when it's not the actual guy.
Yeah, I get it.
But like,
so you're saying that you wouldn't have liked?
Oh, I would have loved it.
Well, I'm saying a different dimension where they land in it, and David Hasselhoff is Nick Fury.
Maybe. I mean, I guess. I mean, because it's already we're already doing that. But like, if we could go back before Spider-Man,
yeah.
You know, I want all the Tony Stark to look like Robert Downey Jr. I want all the. That's how I like my multiverse. Because otherwise, then what do you share with them besides your name? Like that's like what different.
Well, that's why it's going to be. That's why out of the entire Illuminati, it's going to be weird that Patrick Stewart's not going to be Professor X next time we see Professor X.
Yeah, but I don't think any of those characters besides Mr. Fantastic are coming back.
Mordo,
maybe Mordo.
You don't think so?
Maybe, but it'll be another multiverse one,
and we'll see Captain Carter.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
I mean, I would have liked a multiverse of the thing where everybody's kept. How cool would everybody's Bruce Campbell? Like a Bruce Campbell, like that'd be great. Yeah. The Captain America one would have been good. Have you seen? Somebody tweeted a picture of like a photoshopped version of him as Mysterio, and so like, are we gonna get this? And he goes, "Yeah, that's probably not gonna happen."
That's awesome.
He's the best. He's so candid and cool. Like,
yeah.
He's just
it's awesome.
He's the best.
Right,
I don't know why he's not the biggest star in the world.
You got anything else?
Oh man, this was great. This was a long one, but
yeah,
we're good.
No, it was a really good movie, and I'm excited to see it again. And it was cool to see Marvel like sticking a toe into the horror, because Moon Knight ultimately was not the horror that I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
and that doesn't spoil anything. You're still going to watch it, but Blade is obviously going in that direction, or should be anyway. But anyway, we'll see. Maybe we'll be talking more Marvel. Maybe we won't.
Should we do Morbius?
Yeah, actually, when it comes out,
it's a vampire movie.
Can we do Morbius? I think we should do it.
I mean, it should be on video on demand anytime.
Oh my God, let's do Morbius.
I was kidding. I really don't want to do Morbius. I don't want to watch 2 hours of Jared Leto doing fucking anything.
That's awesome.
Unless it's the House of Gucci. We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Where does the Mario Brothers impression in a fat suit for fucking 2 hours?
The last thing I want before we go, I want to mention next week we've got for letter T, Toxic Avenger. So that's already set up. We're going with that. And it will be released. We're going to try a new release schedule for our episodes. We usually release them on Friday. They're going to be released on Sunday instead, so that you guys can have the week to take us with you and listen to us instead of forgetting about us
many times as you can
during the weekend. Yeah. So we're going to try that. Look for the Toxic Avenger, not this coming Monday, but the next. And because we haven't recorded it yet, but it'll be out then. And if you're on the Patreon, thank you very much. Thank you for the support. Those will be released on Monday from now on instead of Sunday or Saturday, whatever we've been doing. If you want to find us on social media, you can find us at Death by Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, which is our hub, and we are also on YouTube. If you want to support the show directly, check us out on Patreon for our second bonus mini podcast, BoobTube TV. And this week we did, what did we do, Kevin? We did
Freddy's Nightmares.
Freddy's Nightmares, episode 1, 1988. And it was a treat. If you haven't seen that, it's all on Tubi. And that episode 1 is a prequel to the 84 movie. So we talked about that over on Patreon, patreon.com/deathbypodcast. That's all we got. Thanks to a couple patrons that met up this weekend, came out to see for Free Comic Book Day. That was cool. Oh, and also D. Brumfeld, the winner of our Blu-ray. That's in the mail. By the time you hear this, it'll be in the mail or at your house. Thanks for doing that and being patient. I think that's it. I'm your host, Adam. That's your other host,
Kevin.
It's Miller time. Kevin?
Shut the fuck up. You get figured it out.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right, folks. Go get strange. Stay horrible. We will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.